And everything is tied to zinc and copper. The developers talked about how they know that everything is tied to zinc and copper. Every problem in the economy is tied to zinc and copper. All right, we have two easy solutions. Anyone sees it. Anyone who plays this game knows. There's not enough zinc and copper spawns, and if you're mining basalt and granite desperately to scrounge up some, those drops are few and far between as well. Way too few and far between. What is the harm in raising that number? The economy's already been broken one way. If they're worried about breaking it the other way, at least we'll be able to make gear. And then they can test crafting. Because right now we can't even test crafting at all. Hello everybody, I wanted to talk about Ashes of Creation. I love this game. I've been covering it for over a year. I would say like a year and a half, almost 2 years now. Time flies when you're having fun. And I wanted to talk about the most recent developer update from Intrepid. Now, I think it was, in general, a very positive experience. I liked a lot of the information given. Summoner looks cool. You know, the Unreal Engine 5 updates. You know, they gave a lot of detail. This developer update was jam-packed. Normally, I watch them live on Twitch with you guys, but by the way, if you enjoy Ashes of Creation, you enjoy MMO news, gaming news in general, I do full variety on Twitch. Hop over to Cap Corgi on Twitch, give that a follow, and sub to the channel. But you know, I cover the good news, the bad news, and I'll always give the authentic take. You know, Ashes of Creation has really long developer updates, and my dad is not well, so I can't really watch the entire thing on stream anymore, at least until he gets better. So I watched it off stream while working and in the background, you know, things like that. It was a nice, chunky, long one of like over an hour and a half. It was great. But I wanted to give my thoughts on some of the things that were going on in it, specifically with the economy. Now, they gave an entire section called the Economy Update, and they kind of went through their process. And I wanted to give my thoughts on, I guess, one of my big issues and worries with the entire situation. Now, the economy's issues, at least in Phase 2 of Ashes of Creation, at least in the past, I guess, like the 2.5, since the wipe about a month and a half ago, has been a couple of things. You know, the big issue with people, you know, cheating. That's its own thing. That is like, you know, not really Intrepid's fault, and they're handling that, and more power to them. I hate cheaters. I hate gold buyers. But the other issue, which they did touch upon, worried me a little bit, and I will tell you why. So, everything that is an issue in the economy amounts to one source problem that leads to a whole bunch of issues. I'm a big crafter. I love crafting. I crafted a lot in Phase 1. You know, got a couple of characters to max level, and I just focused on, you know, crafting and becoming, like, you know, the best metalsmith I could be, the best armorsmith I could be, you know, things like that. I really, really enjoy crafting in MMOs. I enjoy crafting in any game. And Ashes of Creation is really no different, except for the fact that crafting in this game has a major problem that has been a problem since the beginning of testing, and has only become more of a problem as time has gone on, until it became this exacerbated problem over the past month and a half, where it is just horrendous. And if you're a player of Ashes of Creation, you know what I'm talking about. I am talking about the problem of zinc and copper, and the lack of drop rates for both zinc and copper. It is on a scale that is absolutely insane. I'm just having some gameplay going in the background. This is my fighter. My favorite character is the fighter. This is the beginning of 2.5, right after the wipe. So that's why my character is brand new. But one of my big problems is that it is being hard to find zinc and copper. Like, that is an issue that has been time immemorial. But the problem has only gotten worse and worse and worse. Now, this has led to many, many symptoms of how it's changed the game loop for people. People don't really even bother crafting anymore. I know I don't. And I know most people don't even bother doing crafting at low levels. Because the amount of zinc and copper that you used to get was like, you know, a couple of dozen, which is only enough for, you know, a couple of different parts of a gear set. And by the time you out level whatever you're trying to build. And now it has become to the point where when I made this fighter, I made a fighter, a paladin, and a bard, and a rogue. This wipe so far, and I've leveled them all like level 10. And you know, I'm just chilling. I'm not really playing too hard, but I am. I mean, level 10 is not an insignificant amount of time either. Especially because I do a lot of soloing. I don't really have time to play in groups, and, you know, I have to take care of my dad, so I don't want to, you know, let down a group by being like, all right, I'm out, peace, and just, like, leave them in a lurch whenever they're in high women heels or something like that. But here's the issue, guys. Here's the issue. With that previous number in mind, you know, getting a couple of dozen of zinc and copper, leveling a character to, like, level 6 or whatever, leveling to level 10 on my fighter, I have found a grand total of 5 zinc and 10 copper. That is insane. That is enough for one gear piece. That's it. And that's, you know, using copper to make a weapon. That's it. That's literally it. I can find copious amounts of basalt. I can find copious amounts of granite. I can find absolutely crazy amounts of, you know, trees and, you know, everything else, really. But, you know, rubies are hard to find as well. But, like, impossible to find is copper and zinc. And the small bits of copper and zinc that I found were all from the random drops they added to basalt, which is great. I'm glad that they added, like, every time you mine 100 different basalt nodes, you'll get 2 zinc or copper. Like, great. Thank you for adding that. But, like, Christ on a bike, that's not nearly enough. Now, that is the symptom. And that of the issue. You can't do any crafting anymore at low levels. You can't really do any major you know, upgrades to be able to farm as a solo player. This has completely destroyed soloing. They also, I think and suspect, very, very deeply, they lowered the drop rates of gear from monsters, from humanoid monsters, like crazy. Dude, my fighter, I didn't get a single gear drop until level 8. And all I fought, except for, like, you know, the first couple of levels when I'm, you know, desperate for glint and trying to level up my character using the low-level quests and stuff. All I could get was freaking yeah, this was the that was 10. I got so excited and my face fell when I thought it was zinc, and it ended up being 10. So regardless, getting off track. The major problem is I didn't find a single actual zinc node or a single actual copper node, and I found 0 gear drops. So I was at a point where all I'm doing is leveling using the base gear and you know, the one quest where you can get, you know, decent gear. And, you know, every so often I'm able to get really, really lucky at the auction house, though the gold prices were massively inflated due to gold buying. I was able to find, like, a couple of small gear drops here and there where someone was not selling, you know, a low-level item for 50 fucking gold or whatever. And it was instead, like, you know, a more reasonable price of, like, 55 silver or something, which is still very high for, you know, under level 10 armor and weapons, but at least it was something. Regardless, that being aside, my big issue with the entire development discussion for Ashes of Creation was when they were talking about the economy revamp. What is the difficulty in lowering the amount, like, just, you know, if say it's a scalable number for node drops or like node spawns in the Riverlands, and what is the hard part of lowering basalt and granite by 0.05 or something and increasing zinc and copper by that same amount? What is the issue? I really don't know. I have no clue, because I'm farming the exact same farming routes that got me at least a decent amount of zinc and copper in you know, phase 1, and I'm finding nothing. Literally nothing. I don't know if it's because we're all on one server, so everyone's just yoinking all the zinc and copper constantly, but I'm going to areas that I knew that no one else was, and, you know, still I'm not seeing anyone around me. So it's not like I'm competing for drops around people that are near me. And I'm still finding nothing. I don't know what it is that has exacerbated this issue over and over again. It's clear that, you know, every creator is talking about it. You got a Nice Gaming, they talk about it. You got all the big boys, Flanker, and so on and so forth. Everyone has been talking about, you know, everyone who's worth their salt, which is great. There's a lot of great creators in the space, so I'm very thankful about the great creators generally in the Ashes of Creation space. Everyone has been talking about the problem with copper and zinc. So it's not like, you know, Intrepid doesn't know about this issue. But I do not know why it is so difficult to at least give a band-aid solution. And I think they started to do that with adding zinc and copper drops to granite and basalt. But that's it. That's all we've gotten. And it wasn't even nearly enough. If I'm mining 100 basalt nodes and I get a grand total of, like, you know, 5 zinc, that's not a usable number. Like, you can't even make a single, you can make a single gear drop with that. That's it. And nothing else. And I don't know what is going on. And my big issue was that this is a clear question that every content creator is asked. This is a clear question that people in the global chat, when I'm playing Ashes of Creation, I'm dicking around, having a good time in the game. I'm still enjoying the game. Like, I love the game. I love the gameplay, everything. But this is just one glowing issue that everyone has. And it's completely killed the economy, and it's completely killed gearing. It's completely killed crafting, and it's completely killed, you know, farming spots, because everyone's farming the same drops. Everyone's farming boss drops. That's it. That is what the entire game loop has become. And that's a big problem. So it's one major issue, zinc and copper drops, that have become this overwhelming issue that has destroyed, you know, entire game loops and everything. So the question is, why did not that get brought up in the developer talk? It did a little bit, and they're like, oh yeah, we're working on it, and it's going to be a lot. Basically, their entire argument was like, it's going to be a lot of work, and, you know, we're excited to work on it, blah, blah, blah. And it's going to be, you know, added and fixed as a big economy rework over the next, like, what is it? I think, like, couple of weeks before they're able to add it to PTR. And then, like, you know, for a long time afterwards, it won't be on the actual game. And they're like, oh, yeah, it'll be there before August, before Phase 3 starts. Dude, that's not good enough, man. Like, I'm really, really annoyed by the long... the long period of time, because this isn't a new issue. It's just gotten worse and worse and worse. First of all, they didn't say what got worse and worse and worse. Why? Why has this gotten worse, worse, and worse, with lack of gear drops from humanoid enemies and a massive decrease in spawn rates for copper and zinc? And, like, they didn't even go into, hey, yeah, we know the copper and zinc drop rates are too low. They didn't even say that sentence. That is my issue. If they did, I'd be like, all right, at least they're, you know, somewhat thinking. But they know there's a problem, that there's not enough copper and zinc in the world, but, like, the nodes just don't have enough. And you can cheese a little bit by going to places like, you know, the islands and so on. And that's what a lot of people are doing in the sand area, the desert sand area. And you know, you can, like, farm up a whole bunch of stuff there. But, like, the problem is, those are higher level areas where, you know, if you're not level 14 or 15, you're getting one tap by, like, every freaking enemy. Unless you're, you know, a mage, because you can explode things, like, great. Mages are just horrendously strong. But here's the problem, guys. Here's the problem. That is not a solution for getting copper and zinc. Because if you're going there at level 14, level 15, level 13, whatever, you're not using copper and zinc anymore. You've moved on to the higher tier metals. So you basically have no recourse for any crafting under level 10. Now, what is the solution here? I don't know, but I really don't see why it is so difficult to lower the number of, basalt and granite, which is just freaking everywhere, and lower that number by 0.05 or 0.1, as like, 10%, 5%, and then increasing zinc and copper by the same number. Like, it shouldn't be an issue, because if you are farming, basalt and granite, and everyone's saying in global chat, oh yeah, if you just farm it up, at some point zinc and copper will spawn. Okay, but that means the spawn rates are fucked up. So please, Steven Sharif, hear my plea. It's like that meme from Kratos with God of War, where he's like, make this change and my life is yours. And that is where I'm at this point. It's like, dude, please make this one change and my life is yours, Stephen Sharif and Intrepid team. Oh my God. Or at least explain us why it's so hard. Okay? I'm not asking for the economy revamp to be done in a month. I'm not asking for, any of these major sweeping changes in a short period of time. Stephen Sharif talked about, I have to go through 100 recipes and this and that. All I'm asking for is a bandaid solution until we get to that point to make the game at least playable in more than one game loop, as in boss farming. Because if you're not boss farming, you are having a miserable time playing the game in terms of the game loop. The game is still fun. I love the game dearly. I recommend it to every freaking person I play with. Other games, I'm like, hey, have you heard of my Lord and Savior, Ashes of Creation? I'm a big proponent of this game. I've been making videos for 2 years before we were even playing the game. And I love the game. But, like, dude, seriously, this is one major issue. Like, please, if we don't even have quests in the game where we can get gear, we have one. And please at least give us the ability to, have higher level amounts or higher tier amounts, higher percentage amounts of zinc and copper nodes. That's all we are asking. Why is that change so difficult? Or if you're dead set and not making that change and you want there to be ridiculous amounts of basalt and granite in the world, up the amount that we get for zinc and copper from those nodes. Make it, instead of 3 every 100 freaking nodes of basalt that I mine, make it 30. And that would be, I guess, a relatively better ratio. I'm still mindlessly farming basalt, trying to gouge my own eyes out, but at least I'm getting something out of it. Because right now it's completely untenable. And I don't see any reason, and no one has brought up any reason, they didn't even bring up the question of why they can't do that. Please at least answer the question, Intrepid, I beg of you. Why is it so hard to make one of these two changes? Either increase copper zinc nodes, or increase the amounts of copper and zinc that you get from granite and zinc. Granite and basalt. Please, please, please. That's it. That's all I'm asking. Anyways, that's my entire diatribe. I haven't really made a complaint video for this game pretty much ever. I'm very positive on the game. I love the game dearly, so please don't take my criticism as anything but my worry about, in my opinion, the second greatest issue of Ashes of Creation. First greatest is cheaters. Of course, it's absolute cheaters. Get rid of the cheaters, and, they made great strides in talking about that. 100%. Love what the team's trying to do with that. I totally understand that there's waves of cheaters and RMTers and so on and so forth. 100%, I get that struggle. But the second biggest issue with Ashes of Creation is this about copper and zinc. It is ridiculous. It is hard to deal with. If you don't have a group that you can go to the desert with, at low level and so on and so forth, most people who play this game are soloers. Really, most people who play this game are just farming solo, chilling, minding their own business, and that's it. I really do hope that the expectation for the game is to support solo players as well, and at least in some way. And one big part of that is making gear craftable for a solo person rather than a giant guild that's being force-fed one person. They give all of their copper and zinc to one person, which is how the larger guild works, which is totally fine. That is the way to bypass this issue for, big guilds in order to, gear, raids, and so on and so forth. I understand that. I'm not blaming them. That entire game loop that the large guilds have is a symptom, is the end point of the lack of zinc and copper. And everything is tied to zinc and copper. The developers talked about how they know that everything is tied to zinc and copper. Every problem in the economy is tied to zinc and copper. All right, we have two easy solutions. Anyone sees it. Anyone who plays this game knows. There's not enough zinc and copper spawns, and if you're mining basalt and granite desperately to scrounge up some, those drops are few and far between as well. Way too few and far between. What is the harm in raising that number? The economy's already been broken one way. If they're worried about breaking it the other way, at least we'll be able to make gear. And then they can test crafting. Because right now we can't even test crafting at all. So That's my discussion. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comments below. Again, I say this as someone who loves Ashes of Creation. I recommend Ashes of Creation to everyone I play with for any game. I'm like, yes, play Ashes of Creation. Join Intrepid. And I try to recommend this game all the time because I love this game. I spent the $120 to start as soon as I could, all the way in mid to late last year, and I will continue playing it until the game comes out for many years, if the game keeps being as good as it is. But this is a glaring issue, and it worries me because this single issue is gotten worse, and there's no reason for it to get worse. And it feels like there should at least be an answer for why the solution is more complicated than increase the numbers. They don't even ask the question. They don't even respond to that question at Intrepid. And I desperately want an answer to that question. I think we deserve an answer to that question. It's not like an aggressive question. It's not a hard question to answer. If it's just like, oh yeah, it breaks every single system, tell us why. Please tell us why. Because I don't see how, increasing the number from, say, the spawn rate of Zinc and Copper is 0.00005, at least that's what it feels like. Why not up that by 100%? Just make it double it. What is going to break? What is going to break? And if it breaks a little bit and, gives us too much Zinc and Copper, no one will be really complaining because at least we can craft really cool gear. Like, that's it. That's all I want, man. That's all I want. Anyways, that's my biggest issue with the game. That is why, I've not been able to do any crafting as a crafter. I've not been able to do, really half the stuff I like to do in the game, I'm not able to do at all right now because of this one issue. So that's why I'm making this video. And honestly, I didn't find the answer to the thing in the developer update satisfactory enough. I really do want an answer with this type of issue, and I think you guys do too, because this also shows what alacrity can we expect going forward as playtesters for this game and as gamers for this game when this game fully comes out and everything for something like this. Why has it taken so long? Months and months and months we've had this issue. Months and months and months. This has been one issue that has been since the beginning of the playtest. Since the beginning of the playtest. I don't know what's going on. But anyways, that's my big problem. And everyone's been talking about it. And hopefully it gets fixed. But that's my entire diatribe. I hope you guys liked it. Yeah, this is a little bit more of a negative post than I really wanted. But, I just didn't get any answers. So this is the only way I can really at least let it out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you feel I'm being too unfair, by the way, do let me know that as well in the comments below. If you think you were very happy with the answer and maybe I missed something, maybe they said why, maybe they answered the question and I was just wrong. Do let me know that in the comments below as well, because hey, I'll always take constructive criticism any day of the week. I just want a good game. A good MMO, and I love this MMO and every single other aspect except for the Zinc and Copper drops. Really, that's my only big issue with the game. I don't even mind the lag because I know they're server meshing is not even in the game. They're working on it. I'm totally good with everything else. This is the one issue I have. Anyways, also by the way, the RMTing, it is so high because people can't make gear, and people can't make gear because of the Zinc and Copper. If they fix this, it'll also help with RMTing. It really will. So, just food for thought. Let me know your thoughts. Share this with your friends. Share this with any other Ashes of Creation players. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. We cover a full variety. I would love to see your lovely bright faces in all of our other videos as well. I'll always cover the news, good, bad, and ugly, with constructive criticism. Unless a developer really fucks up, and then I'll just call them dog shit. But I'll always say what it is, and I'll never hold back. Catch you guys in the next video.